Aloha, Richard Halverson here, and today we're going to do, this is ITS148, and we're going to do programming exercise 10.2 uh, in the TKinter chapter of the textbook. So let me share my screen. All right. Here's the syllabus, and I'm going to do this problem right here, which is due tomorrow. Okay. Again, you can always hand stuff in late. Don't let that run out of time. You can't hand it until Monday or whatever. Just do it. You're not going to get any points taken off. Okay. Important thing is that you do it. All right. So if we look at the chapter, this is it, I think. Yeah, this is the first page of the programming exercises of the chapter. If we go back one page to the chapter summary, we see this here is a good summary of how you create a GUI application. You start out by using the TK class to create a window, and then you add widgets and you place them inside the window. And the first argument of each widget class is the parent container. So and in which case it's usually like window, or it could be a frame. So to place a widget, you need to specify the geometry manager. And the geometry manager, there's three of them: pack, grid, and place. And so pack, we saw that last time. Pack just places things side by side or on top of each other. With the grid, you specify column row coordinates. And place manager is you specify absolute locations on the window on the screen. And many widgets have a command option for binding an event, like clicking a button, to a callback function. And so when the specified event, like pressing the button, occurs, then the callback function is invoked. And then there's this canvas widget, which we looked at last time in exercise 10.1, where we drew a oval and moved it around, and with that we used the canvas. And then images can be used in many widgets also. So let's take a look at what the problem is. And it is this: create an investment value calculator. Basically, we're making this thing right here, okay? And it's write a program that calculates the future value of an investment given an interest rate for a specified number of years. And again, we're programmers. We're not, investment analysts, mathematicians. Okay, the investment analyst mathematician gives us the formula in a way that they can most easily express it. By the way, it's probably not this. It probably looks a lot more like a mathematical equation, but it is the programmer's job to take that mathematical-looking equation and turn it into one or more lines of Python code that will calculate the result, the end result. Okay, so they give you the formula in a format that's actually how you would write the statement in a Python program. Although ours is going to look a little different because we're going to adapt this to our specific program. So I'm going to let's see. I'm going to make a nice copy of this so I can refer to it. I actually want to refer. Let me just go to this. Take this too. All right, there. So I'm gonna have this at my, I'm going to have that at my disposal. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Don't need this anymore. All right, so let's start making the program. I'm going to pull up Notepad here. This is my Notepad program. And I'm going to start by, first of all, I have to tell it that I'm using TKinter. So I put from TKinter import everything. Okay, so that brings in the TKinter class. And then I'm going to make a window, and I can name this thing anything I want. I'm going to name it window, whatever, 1. And that's going to equal, this is how you instantiate a window using TKinter. So now I've got this window, and it's called window 1. And now I'm going to put a title on window 1. So I'm going to do window 1 equals dot title is investment, Richard's investment calculator. Doesn't matter because no one's going to see it. In fact, since you see it, well, okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm going to do that. And then just to see what this looks like, I'm going to actually run it and see what it looks like. So to run it, or to get the loop going, I have to put in this main loop thing at the bottom. And then this thing, I think this might just, let's see, I'm going to save it as on the desktop as test.py, whatever's there. And I'm going to bring up a command prompt. It looks like this. I've CD'd to the desktop, so I've got so I can type py for Python. In my Python, it's called, in my installation, it's py. You can go to python.org and download and install whatever kind of computer you have, and install a free version of Python that works absolutely fine. But anyway, so it's test py. Let's see what this looks like. And up pops this thing. And we can see that this is a nice window. It doesn't have anything on it. It's got Richard's investment calculator up there at the top. Okay, that's great. Let's keep moving. So what we want to do is on this window, we want to make something that looks like this right here, this thing. So that's something that looks like it's got 2 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. 5 columns, 5 rows and 2 columns. So let's use that. Let's so let me go up in here, and I'm going to say there's going to be label entry. So I'm going to start by saying label. And I'm going to put that label on window 1. And the text for that label is going to be, there's a text property. It's going to be investment amount. And I'm going to use this, what do they call it in this language? Display manager? Where's my... Geometry manager. Okay. We're going to use the grid geometry manager. And so we're going to use grid. And we're going to put that in row 1, column 1. Sure. Now, there's this sticky attribute, okay? And sticky, it's like, it's like in Microsoft Word, you can align left or right, and you can also align up, middle, or down. Or you can align left, Here, let me just pull up Word real quick here. We got time. There's a. Let me pull up my. Actually, Excel might be better, but I'll just explain it this way. Let me pull up my whiteboard here. And so, so you have a box, and you can align it in the middle. For vertical, you can align it in the middle, or you can align it at the top, or you can align it at the bottom. You can also align it to the left, or the middle, or the right. Okay, so in so that's two parameters. It's an x, y, but we want to use just a single parameter. So what they do is they use you know, directions, northeast. So so instead of this, they do. Let me do a different color here. This one, north, south, east, west, northwest, southwest, southeast, and northeast, and middle. So, so yeah, right. So I don't think we don't need this. So we want to put this. We want to put the investment amount word here to the on the west end. The west equals west letter equals west. Okay. There. Let's run this. Oh, then we got, yeah, okay, so that's great. Okay, so let's save it. I'm just going to see what this looks like real quick here. And this thing pops up. Grab it over here. Here. Looks like this. Let's make it bigger. Okay, Richard's investment calculator. There's that word. Okay. And then let's put the entry thing over there on the right. So the way we do that is, let me get rid of this. We're going to make first let's define a variable that this number is going to go into. So and it's a string. It's a string that's coming in. It's a bunch of characters, and then we're going to have to. It's good. We're going to convert it to a number, but we'll do this first. First, we bring it in as a string, and I'm going to declare that variable. I'm going to call it investment amount, and that's going to be a string var. Now, it's not going to be just a string. Okay, remember there's just strings. We could do something like this, but the problem is this is not compatible with the widget. The widget that we're going to place this into. That widget wants to see a string var object. It's an actual object. And so that's what the investment amount is, and then we're gonna then we're gonna connect that to an entry, NTRY, which is going to be this text box. This is an entry text box here, and we're gonna pop that thing into window 1. And so now let's connect this text variable to it. It's not text labels text. This is text variable. Equals investment amount, and that's a string var type. And for entries, we've got, you know, we could be typing this stuff in and it starts at the left. So if we're asking them the city they were born in, when you start typing, it would be in the left. Here we're asking them to type in a number, so we want the it to be right justified equals right. And then we're going to place it, the geometry manager, grid, row 1, column equals 2. All right, now what might that look like? This thing pops up. There we go. That looks starting to look pretty good. All right. And we want it to look like it's, in the end, it's going to look like that. Okay, so great. Let's close this. I need to close that. I'm going to put a colon here just because I want to put a colon there. All right, and then, so I'm going to do the same thing for years and annual interest rate. So I'm just going to do a copy, paste, paste, paste. Put some space in between here. And this is going to be not investment amount, but years. And this is going to be annual interest rate. Annual interest rate. And we're going to name this variable years. And we're going to name this variable annual interest rate. Okay. And that's, name this annual, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And this is going to go in row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2. This is going to go into row 2, column 1, and row 2, column 2. And this is going to go in row 3, column 1, and this is going to go in row 3, column 2. I'm just going to see what this looks like. And this thing pops up, and that's looking pretty good. Alrighty, okay, now what else? Oh, we're going to put this future value thing in, and that's a label. This is really a label. We could do a text box or entry and just write it in there, but let's do a label instead. So let's just copy paste this first. And the first one is going to say future value. And that's going to go in row 4. This is going to go in row 4, except for it's a late, don't need this. Yeah, we do need this, don't we? Future value. And we've got a future value. Window 1, oh no, it's going to be a label. And it's just, we don't use justify, we do, because there's not text inside of a text box. It's actually, we got to do the sticky thing again. Sticky equals east. East. All right. Oh, let's just throw in the the button at the bottom. Button will go into window 1, and the text is going to say calculate. And we're going to connect this to what they call a callback function. So we're gonna define a function, and so when this button is pressed, it's going to execute this thing called command future compute future value. Okay, and we're gonna pop that thing grid, and we're gonna do. How about if we just do row equals 6. And column equals 2, and we're going to sticky boy that to the west. So it's like going to be right, like instead of over here, I want that button to be right here instead. So to do that, I'm going to be sticky equals west. So now I can't run this because I don't have this. I'm going to get a syntax error. Watch, or a compile error. So let's look at this. Boom. This is not defined. So let's just let's just define it here. Def compute future value colon, and will that do it for me? I'm gonna make this a function. Will this do it for me? No, I guess there's got to be something defined there. So I'm just going to go. All right. So I'm going to write something into here. I'm going to write something into here. I'm going to write something into this label right here. And we are inside a method. So we have the scoping issue that I talked about last time. So we have to declare inside the method. I'm going to want to write something into, how would I do that? I can go future value dot set hello. But this is the variable future value, but this is inside the method and this is outside the method. So I got to say that it's global. So I got to say that I'm actually referring to, I'm not trying to define a new string var here. I'm just referring to the one outside. So I'll go global future value. Okay. Now let's run this. I bet this is enough. Okay. This thing pops up. And when I press calculate, it says hello. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, instead, what I want is when I press calculate, I don't want it to say hello. I want it to take this number and take this number and take this number and do this calculation right here somehow and have it write out, have it, where was I? Oh, well, anyway, have it write out here the computed value. So we're getting there. Okay, so I guess where we are is we're working on the function now. So the calculation is going to be something like, first of all, we input an annual interest rate, and we got to convert that to a monthly interest rate here. So let's create a value called monthly I'm going to call mon int rate. Mon int rate is equal to the and I'm going to be dealing with I'm going to be reading in this annual interest rate. So I'm going to be reading in this number here. So it's equal to the a float version, because I got to convert, it's a string, right? Floating point of annual interest rate. But now this is an object, and so so you can't just say annual interest rate. You have to get the value out. So there's a method. You have to use a get method. So get, if this were just a string variable, then we just put annual interest rate there. But it's not. It's a string var object. So we've got to use this get and set. That's why I use get and set instead of just having it be, an identifier and an expression. So that's all we got to do. And so it's going to be that. And then since that's the annual, this is the annual interest rate, and we want to make it a monthly interest rate, so we can divide it by 12. 12 times 12 gets the annual. That, and then now it turns out that okay, let's just keep on going. We're gonna, and then we want to do, so we got the monthly interest rate. Now we're going to take the investment amount and do this equation here. Okay, this equation. Now this is an exponent. Well, we can use double star. So I'm going to define another value called FV for future value, and that's going to be the float of the investment amount dot get, and the float of that is that, and then we're going to multiply that by something, multiply it by something in parentheses, and this something in parentheses is 1 plus this monthly interest rate that we calculated right up here, so that would be mon int rate. I should have just named it this. In fact, maybe I will. Monthly, just to be more clear. Month interest rate. Monthly interest rate times monthly interest rate, plus monthly interest rate, parentheses, to the power of whatever this is, which is the years times 12. Oh, years get. Okay. Oh, okay. This is an actual value, so this is not a thing, but this is gonna do get this. Oh, and we got to convert that to an integer too, don't we? Int. I think that's right. Let's make this a float. Make them all the same. And times 12. Okay, so times 12. That doesn't make. That's not obvious to me, but that's okay. It's right here. It's right here. Okay. So times 12. So we have the number of years times 12. I think it's because we're doing this by the month. We're doing a calculation how much we're getting each month, and then we have to multiply, and then we're going to do it for a certain number of months, and we're calculating the interest, the added interest each month as it goes along, and so really we're doing by month and not by year. So how many times do we do it? That's what the exponent is. How many times we do it, and so we're going to do it the number of years, which let's say it's 5 years. 5 times 12 is 60, because so really we're doing this 60 months. Okay, so that's why this we multiplied by 12. Anyway, that's neither here nor there for you folks. For us, for programmers, that's the investment analysts have figured all that out. All right, so that's that, and then and so now we've got this FV value calculated out, and now we have to write it out. No, we have to write it into this future value variable, string var, down here, which ends up going into right here. So to do that, we're going to do some formatting. Let's see. This dot 0.2 decimal colon dot 2 f, floating point number, 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. It'll just be the first one here, which is dot format, and it's FV that we're writing out. Okay, so we take FV, and it's going to be this floating point number, and we are displaying it out in this format. This format is floating point number, 2 digits to the right of the rounded 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. So now the other thing is that we've only globalized future value. We got to globalize the rest of these, which is investment amount and years, and I'm going to run it right now just so you can see what a syntax error is when we leave it out. So I'm going to leave that out on purpose, just so we can see what it looks like. Run, and oops, let me, oh, where is it? And this. Control C. All right. Oh, it was waiting. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, let's try this again. Let me go Control C again. Well, anyway, oh, it just takes a while, I guess. Huh. Well, anyway, this thing popped up. And so we'll do 10,005.5, doing this number right up here, and 3 years, and annual interest rate of 2.25. Calculate. Ooh, that's a big number. Why? Gee, maybe I don't need a global. I'm not sure. Anyway, that number is obviously wrong, and the reason the number is wrong is because when we entered in the annual interest rate, 2.25%, we don't really mean, no. When we entered in the annual interest rate, it's asking for 2.25%, but we are typing in not 2.25%, we're typing in 2.25. Okay, 2.25% is 0.02. It's 0.2. One, two twos. Okay, so anyway, it's that. That's 2.25%. So when we calculate it now we get a much better number. Okay. And so so I'm going to leave that bug for you to fix. Okay, so there's in this formula here, and you got to mess with this formula a little bit to make it so you can just type in 2.25%. You want to be able to type in 2.25%. You want to be able to type in 2.25% and get this number here. The problem is our formula is wrong, and we need to instead type in 0.0225. 0.0225 is 2.25%. Think about it, and that's the right number. Okay, the other thing I'm curious about now is I only globalized future value, investment amount, years. I did not globalize annual interest rate. I wonder if I need to even have this. I'm going to take this out and see what happens. Save, close this, and you run it again, and this thing pops up. And I can put 10,000.5, 3 years, 0.0225 for 2.25%. Calculate, and I get the right number. Okay. I guess I don't need that global. Probably because we're doing string vars and not. Anyway, okay, great. So forget about the global thing. Just do it this way. Now, we have finished the assignment. See, we've done everything. Oh, except for you got to fix you have to fix this. You got to make it so you can type in 2.25%. So that's messing with something around here. Okay. If you just do this, you'll get like a lot of the points, most of the points. But I want you to make it so it works correctly. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn this into a class. Okay, because you remember in the 10.1 we created something that's kind of like this, and then the last step you had to do is to turn it into a class, convert it into a class. And I didn't do that for you last time, but I'll do it for you this time. Okay, and you can see the steps, and you should be able to apply it to the 10.1 assignment exercise. So to do that, we start with, this is fine. We have to put this class thing here. So I'm going to say class, and I'm going to call it main graphical user interface, colon, and then all this stuff here gets indented by 1, and down at the very end here I invoke the class, so I just say main GUI like that, and that invokes this class, that starts it up. Okay, now inside the class I need to convert this to an init. If this will work. I want to see if this will work. Oh. This thing pops up, and 0.0225. No, it doesn't work. Okay, self. Oh, you gotta do all that self. Okay, so yeah, forget it. All right, so so let's do the right thing here. We want to do a def init. Init. And we put the self variable. It doesn't have to be self. It can be self1, can be anything, but we'll just use self by convention. Just like window. It doesn't have to be window. It can be window 1. Anyway, do this, and then actually all of this is indented now because it's inside of a method. This too. And then we got to put all these selfie things, and let's see, starting with the variables here. Self. Okay, I'm going to copy this, Control C, and I'm going to do, let's see, oh, this is going to put one there, put one here, put one here, 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 and here, and here, and here, and right here we got to put self, and we got to put it self in front of here, and we got to put self in front of here, and not there, because this is just in local variable. This is not local. This is local. This is local. Oh, this is not local. And let's see. Did we get everything here now? Looking good. All right, I'm going to save this. So you see what I did? I put self in front of a bunch of them. I didn't put it in front of these. These are commands. I didn't put it in front of this command. This is a variable. Okay. I put it in front of all the variable names. Now, in front of all the things that I've defined. I didn't put it in front of window. All right. So just test it out. Okay. So I'm going to see if this works. Oops, not that. Test. This thing pops up, and I can put in 0.5, 3 years, 0.0225, and I'm going to calculate it, and it calculates correctly. Very good. All right, so I think that's enough for this assignment. All you need to do, you don't need to do the class part. I just wanted to show you how to convert it. But what you do have to do is make it so instead of typing in 0.025, you type in 2.25. So it's 10 times. It's 100 times. And then so you have to convert that into what goes into the formula. All right. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.